or I would travel down here once a month, do a small training event, where I train in front of the room, hundreds of people. We're doing mission work, NLP based work with hundreds of clients, and then I would go home, and my husband's coworkers, other police officers, like, what does your wife do? He's like, I don't know. She just goes to San Diego a week and comes back and changes people's lives. I have 2 children. I was almost 16. Just got a driver's permit on Tuesday. I'll be 16 in a couple weeks. And both of my girls, and I have another 12-year-old daughter, they're both in theater. So we're huge in theater. None of them knew what I did, nor were they involved in anything that I did. So I ran 2 separate lives. And what I was not willing to do, what I knew that I must, is I must integrate them so I could be whole and complete with everything that I do and travel for my whole career. And so I did a 30-day Facebook Live challenge, and I went on Facebook Live every single day, and I taught an NLP tip a few years ago, and everybody now knew what I did. There was friends on Facebook, my clients and everything like that, so I knew and then after that, my business completely skyrocketed. So that's what I knew I had to do, but was not willing to do until I pulled the trigger.
So my name is Carson, and I have built a private high school when I was 17 with this amazing, incredible woman. And I had gotten more tutoring clients, and I did physical. I did educational therapy at that point. And then I worked as a mediator in conflict resolution and traveled around the United States teaching conflict resolution and mediation with companies. And when I first decided to go out as a coach, I had somebody ask me, how serious are you about being a coach? And I'm like, I'm pretty serious. I think I can do this. I have the skills. And they said, well, are you willing to knock on 2,000 doors? And I was like, 2,000 doors. There's no absolute way that I would knock on 2,000 doors. And she said, well, in order to start my health business, I knocked on 2,000 doors in LA. And it was the 1,999th door that they bought my services and referred 10 people. And then one of those people referred 10 people. And it was that. So she said, what is your 2,000 doors? And so my 2,000 doors was going to my phone and calling every single person in my phone. If I wasn't willing to call them, it was deleting them out of my phone. And emotions came up because it was people from high school, people from my past businesses, it was people I connected with around the world when I was teaching conflict resolution. And I had to face, what did they think of me? Who was I at that point in my life? And so it actually released a lot for me. And I got my first 2 clients, which then referred me 2 more clients, which then referred me 10 more clients, which then led me to actually joining the coaching company that I met Jen. Within the first 6 months, I tripled my business. They hired me, and then we started working together. And now we are having our business. So that is a little bit about us. Now we want to know the name of your business and what's the one thing you know you have to do, but you're not doing. All right, who would like to?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
My name's Rob Gordon. I am trying to build a... What's that? Oh, I didn't do that last time. That's right. Okay. My name's Rob Gordon. I'm trying to build a business services cooperative. It's going slow. I have 2 clients only now. That's not too many. But I got a small grant for business advising. The advisor fell through, but the agency that's doing that has agreed I can buy stuff. And I think I can get away with about $2,500 of stuff, which is pretty cool. Think of all those, enhanced services you never bought. So I'm excited about that. Your question, what's my comfort zone? I really suck at listening. I'm a bad listener. I'm one of these guys that thinks about what I'm going to say rather than listening to you. I don't listen to people's names. I'm a terrible person. So I'm going to work on that. That's my own personal ability. Thank you.
All right, who's next?
I won't. Don't worry. We're going to hear your voice though.
That's my thing. I'm a writer, and I'm 22 years old in Florida, where I have a writing business, but down here, feels like it's starting over. I had a lot of referrals, and I never advertised. I just went from drop to the next. And so now I'm here, and the being physical, anything to do with social media, which I want to do and don't do. I know I probably should do if I want to get people to come to my workshops or, Well, don't put me on camera. That shows you right there. What I don't want to do.
Okay, hey, that's great. That's the question we asked. Thank you. Yes, vulnerable and honest. Who's next? Yes.
I have room for international students in my
Say your name.
Oh,
Andrea.
Andrea.
And what I'm trying to decide if I want to still do it because I was very lucky this year. It just happened. Normally, everything changes every semester, and it's Lloyd from here at University City. And for some reason, all my students stayed the whole year, so I won't have to do anything, which really makes it easier. And I had one, I managed property, and I had one horrible experience because they sold the property while I was managing it without recruiting me. So anyway, so that was like super stressful. So now I don't even, I feel like I don't want to do it. I do it, I don't want to.
So making a decision is what you know you must. Good, well, I'm gonna help you with that today, hopefully. Yes?
My name's Bryna Kranzler. I'm a writer, but I primarily work as an editor and essay coach. Most of my clients are entrepreneurs who've written a book that they want to have edited to help promote their business. And actually, right now, I'm doing PR for one client whose book I edited. So, a little bit of ad hoc stuff comes up. And some of my business is seasonal. The essay coaching is very time of year. I don't have something that's steady all the time. And most people don't write a book a year, so it's always getting a new client. A lot of them seem to find me. I work on a couple of platforms where I will apply for a job, then then they can look at what I've done. But yeah, I don't like to do self-promotion.
Self-promotion, all right.
We just want to write at home, right? Our little.
Just have people knock on the door.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff
Here's some
comes that
money.
way.
Here's my job, okay.
Right.
Hey, so self-promotion, love it, love it.
That'll be me.
Oh, or Sue?
No,
Who wants to go next?
Oh, so my name's Tiffany Johnston, and twofold. So my business is sales, but I can do it. I do it well. I just don't want to knock on 2,000 doors.
Anybody does.
Let's just be straight. I can do it, and I do it well. I just don't want to do it. So I have to rev up every morning to go out, and I still got a door knock, So
That can be exhausting. You have to continuously rev up.
What's your business, Tiffany? I didn't.
software, CRM, business management software. So that's the professional side. The personal side, it's been a 10-year ongoing project in my head. I took the first step finally a month ago, and it's immigrant story. So in a nutshell, you remember Chicken Soup for the Soul?
Yes, Jack Canfield.
We don't have one for immigrant story, Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Fun.
There's a lot of amazing immigrants that have risked everything, lost everything, war-torn countries, come here, and
This is the business me. Ask the.
Okay,
people.
thank you.
Thanks.
not only survive, but overcome and thrive and have contributed to this country, and with all the negativity surrounding racism and prejudice and anything different, anybody different this time. So that's been in my head for 10 years, like a vision, and then finally this year, I'm recording it with I have a partner that is helping me. So we're recording my story first.
Yes.
I'm 10 hours in, and I'm still just in college. So
Oh, fun idea.
It sounds like a book.
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely a book.
Yeah, so I'll start my story, but I used to think my story, but no, there's a lot of stories. It'll just be a compilation of just stories for the soul and as an inspiration for others to go, you have no excuse.
I would love you to connect with somebody that we've worked with. She has a very similar story. She was in the finance for so long, and she thought that was the way she was going to build her wealth. And we worked with her for 6 months, and she just went to a talk in January, and she's like, I finally did it. So So she had a very similar story. She realized that Filipino men and women that are immigrating are not fit into society, and they've been through a lot of discrimination and different things, and so she wants to create a safe space for them. So I would love to connect the two of you because it sounds like there could be some connection there. I'm
Yeah.
getting chills right now.
I know,
It's
yeah.
so needed and wanted.
It is, and it's amazing because you have no idea. You'll see somebody that walks down the street that has a really thick accent, and you don't understand what they're saying, and they might look terrorist or whatever, you know. And then you sit down and talk to them. I mean, case in point, there was a security guard at a hospital. I was visiting my friend, and he was from Iraq. You know, an older gentleman who was like a security guard. I got to talk to him because I was frequenting the hospital. He was a doctor, a surgeon back in his country, but he's here, can't speak English, can't get, you know, can't be a doctor, but he's the most qualified guard, you know, door guard in the whole
Oh, gosh.
hospital, right?
With these immigrants in El Cajon that were coming in from Iraq, and the same thing, they were all engineers, had master's degrees, and their family was still there dying, and they didn't know where some of their family was, and their degrees here don't work.
Yeah, yeah.
And they have to go through all that. So
Good.
Yeah, so to
commend
the
you for your
election.
work and
Yes.
you stepping into that.
So it's like I need a huge push because you know now I at least took the first step, but it's a titan and anyway the general theme is
Yeah.
going to be uplifting humanity once in a
Well, we'll
while.
see what we got going on here. So Miss Sue, hi. Good to see you
Sue.
again.
It's not on you, don't worry. Unless the edge can take you.
Sue, I'm an attorney. I'm an independent contractor. I must make more money. I don't know if it's, everyone else thinks that I must, in order to do that, give up my own private business and go and work for someone else full time, like I did for the first 20 years of my career. I'm not willing to do that. That's why I got out of it. I'm not working 80 hours a week for someone else to work what works out to an hourly wage of like less than I made when I was
Right.
26. I'm not doing it. So I don't know if there's something I really need to do. All I have to sell is my time, and so I can't blow up my business. It's just me. So if I don't want to work 80 hours a week, then I can't take on more clients.
We'll go from there. Well, thank you guys for sharing all of that.
Yes, that helped us connect. So what we want to do is make today relevant for you and specifically to your stories. And we do believe that we have 4 mindset and hacks that are going to support each and every one of you in your stories. Okay. What we're here to do today is you actually have a little sheet. That what we're going to talk about today. So you have it today, and then you also have notes. You can take notes on that. Okay. So what we're here today is how do you use NLP to achieve higher conversions even when you're not an expert salesperson. Okay. And so do you ask questions like, how do I close a potential client without feeling salesy? How do I build and scale my business? Do I need fancy marketing techniques and fancy sales techniques in order to grow my business? So our promise to you today is you can communicate more effectively in order to close your sales in your business without fancy sales tactics. So take a big breath. Because it's we are here to sell the myth, and that's why we're Genius Unlock Coaching Institute, because too often entrepreneurs and self-employed like you are searching for stuff outside, and so we're going to show you that your tools and techniques are inside through your communication. Okay? So we want you truthfully to finally be able to find your ideal clients, get in front of the right people, and stop worrying about it. Stop worrying about how do I get in front of the right people, so that you can build and scale your techniques. Okay. So we are Genius Unlocked Coaching Institute, and we our big slogan is Unlock Your Genius. And so we offer 5 sort of international certifications through NLP and the International Coaching Federation. About half the time other companies do it because we want you to have the impact that you deserve on your clients and be able to connect with your business. So we've helped people with marriages. We've helped people with connecting their father and son who haven't talked in a long time. We've helped people switch their business or change where they're going in their business in order to have more passion. And we even had one client that went from $25,000 to $40,000 a month using the NLP techniques we're going to share today.
In less than 6 months. In less than 6 months, achieve that. Because what we're gonna share with you is small tweaks that are gonna be easy and effortless for you to implement into your business. So that when you do go out and do the things that you don't wanna do, right? Knocking the 2,000 doors, well, let's convert more of them. So then it's even more exciting. When you are going out there and sharing what about me, like why am I so fabulous and why should you come here, you're gonna be confident that what you're saying is connecting with the right people. And then making, going inside, and Andrea had seen it, is this what you really want to do? And then Sue, it's like, what other options do I have? Because it sounds like you're kind of like, well, I'm in a box. It's like, I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. And so when we can talk about the little mindset hacks inside of us, then things start opening, we start getting flexible, we start seeing possibilities we never even knew were even inside. So that's what we're going to focus on for the next 15, 20 minutes, so we can get everybody set and feeling empowered to leave with some amazingness. So one of the things, so we're on the other side, we're gonna talk about, so it's not your lack of fancy sales techniques. It's not. There's not the one thing. There's not the one thing that you're like, oh, if I learn this thing, my business is just gonna explode. It's what is the mindset, what's going on inside of your head, and what is that doing to inhibit you, to propel you, or to stop you? So it's about mindset. So the case study around that is the Seattle Seahawks. So they won the Super Bowl, and I grew up in Colorado, so I'm like this diehard Denver Bronco fan. My dad went to high school with the quarterback and before John Elway, and it was the year the Seattle Seahawks beat us in the Super Bowl. So it's like I really do not want to be telling this story because they beat us because of NLP. Because the Seattle Seahawks were like, the coaches were like, okay, we don't need to learn, they already know how to play football. They don't need another skill. There's only so many ways you can throw a ball. What they need is mindset. He hired the NLP coach that came in, coached all the players for the entire year, and they kicked their butts in the Super Bowl.
Wow.
They came out of nowhere. So that was all, that year that they won and they beat the Denver Broncos was all based on NLP. It's all documented, it's out there in the world, but that was all mindset techniques. It wasn't they needed to learn how to play football better. It was what's going on inside. So that's kind of the overview.
So real quick, how does that apply to you? If you're looking for that silver bullet and that technique outside of yourself, then that's what's distracting you from really looking at how do I feel comfortable to want to be on camera, or how do I feel comfortable then to make that next step. So that's why this first tip is really about the mindset, so that you don't distract yourself with looking for the silver bullet outside yourself.
So the way that the strategy works is whenever you are making your calls or before you get online, or you run a strategy in your mind. You either look at the phone, so you're visually looking at something, then you get this feeling like, oh good Lord, I clearly don't want to pick up the phone. And then you pick up the phone and you start talking to yourself. They are not going to like me. I don't know how to close. I'm not going to be able to do this. And you call what's called your self-talk. So you actually run this strategy unconsciously. And you're like, well, why do I hate making phone calls? So, Tiffany was like, okay, I know I have to go do this. So that's why we're asking, what do you know that you must do that you're not willing to do? It's because the strategy that you're unconsciously running is preventing you from going out and doing that. So once you can understand the strategy, you just install a new strategy and bam, it's gone. It's that simple. So for me, I was just probably like all of you, didn't want to make sales calls because I'm what's called a inferential listener and a speaker, which means I like to drop hints and give compliments, and I'm just go in for the close, I'm going, and I felt like that was a bad thing about me. I'm not a good closer because I don't know how to close. So I would look at the phone and I'd be like, I don't want to call these people. So I figured out what my strategy was. I implemented the technique. I changed my strategy. And then now, the next time I got on the phone, I had a list of 100 people. Who here is make a list of 100 people, call them in your phone, all that stuff. And I closed 2 out of 3. And it was and I didn't really change my words. I changed what I thought inside.
So how does that apply to you?
Exactly.
Is that it's really, we go around saying, I can't do this, I'm not good at this, I don't know how to do this, when really it's an awareness thing of, oh, what's the strategy? And if I don't want to do it, then I get tired, and then I have to motivate myself, and that's using more energy instead of the mental energy that can be used on enjoying it and connecting. And so it's really about the awareness of your strategy, then which is simple over I don't know how to.
I'm wondering if reducing your expectations helps a little bit, where you're not trying to close. I read a blog article a while back I really liked, and it made the point, what if it's all just luck? What if success is really just luck? That would change how you play the game. That would mean you'd want to give yourself more chances, right?
Right.
You'd want to roll the dice more.
So right,
Right.
write this down. Expectation is the thief of joy.
Yeah. Thief of joy. Expectations are the thief.
Go over technique.
Are we on the first
Like,
shift?
You just told us all these stories, but you're gonna say this is.
So you want to become aware of so the technique is to
Right.
become aware of your strategy. So what do you do?
How do we know, are you gonna show us how to replace those thoughts?
So it's going to be through, well, we have 20 minutes, so I'm gonna do the best that I can, but it's also, it's through meditation, it's through connecting with your unconscious mind, and it's through, which is, I'm gonna show you another one, is your unconscious values. It's all about identifying, taking what's unconscious and making yourself consciously aware of it.
So we're going to talk about that on the next one. So for this one, it really is, what is the thought that you have when you don't want to do something? What is the feeling and how is that affecting your behavior?
Right.
Okay.
Because I do workshops on accessing the writer within, and I call it when it's
Yeah, that's- And so the difference with, well, not the difference, because I don't know, I haven't heard your beautiful presentation. So one thing that we really want to be careful of is that it's not at the conscious mind. So when Tiffany was using the example of that she's got to rev herself up, that's consciously. So she's having to overpower what is unconscious. I changed my strategy, now my unconscious mind is like, let's go. Like we're here like today, so the reason that I flew down here is we're actually have 15 of our clients. We rented a big house up in Scripps Ranch, and we're doing a 3-day retreat. And we were still able, and he's like, oh, we get this opportunity to speak. So the moment that we leave here, we're catering all the food and all this stuff, and we have 15 of our clients going to this huge house this weekend. We're able to just come in here, share this beautifulness with you, and then move on to what we're doing, because our unconscious mind wants to share this. There was no revving up to come talk to you guys today. We were like, let's go with our bad selves. Like, what can we do? Let's bring so much value, because we're not having to overcome.
Right.
So,
And so
point
for
number
this,
2.
yes, for this one, it's just notice your thoughts, notice your beliefs, and then how is that affecting your behavior? Okay,
And
that's
then
the-
change your thoughts, change your beliefs, change your
And
behavior.
then from there, you change your beliefs, change your, right? And it's obviously more than 20 minutes, but that's the mindset.
Awesome. So, your unconscious mind, and I just kind of just a little bit talked about this just now, is your unconscious mind is ruining your chances at whatever you're thinking of. So your unconscious mind, because of those limiting beliefs, because of what's going on unconsciously, it's ruining your chance of making a decision, going online, feeling that you're stuck, if that's your term, like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Feeling like, I'm trying to launch something, why is it not getting any momentum? Going from how do I get more clients to find me? How do I get those door knockings, or how do I shift from now my book is up here now, instead of here's my 2,000 door knocking, how do I bring my book passion of 10 years? Change your unconscious mind underneath it, and all of a sudden you're up here and your book is just flowing out of you.
Got it.
Yeah.
But you said before, so the only way to change your unconscious mind is meditation.
Or getting in touch with your unconscious mind and finding the limiting beliefs and breaking through them with a ton of different strategies. Again, that's,
Yeah.
there's
Utilizing NLP to
utilizing NLP.
Yes, so this is a primer. It's a primer of NLP for self-employed individuals. So we want you to understand the little NLP hacks, because it's a primer of understanding what the bigger concept.
Well, could you give us that overview of NLP itself? I mean,
Yeah,
because I've heard of it, but
Do what?
I'm more interested
I mean, I know Anthony Robbins made it
Okay, so
famous, but
neuro,
Yeah, that's right.
so
That's
neuro-linguistic
what
programming. So neuro is how you do things unconsciously. It's your brain. It's the neurology of your brain. It's those thoughts and beliefs. It's that strategy, whatever word you want to put on it. Linguistics is language. So we actually kind of make it a little funny in the NLP world, is it's a gauge, so it's lane gauge, and it's a gauge of how you take your internal thoughts, and it's how you make them come out into the world. So that is what the language piece of it is. It's linguistics. It's what is the self-talk inside of your head, and how do you put it out into the world? So then the programming is your external. It's your environment. It's your parents. It's your schooling. It's your siblings. It's your what country did you live in, Tiffany, with your book? Like, how did you grow up? That's your programming. You had no control over that stuff. 0 to 7 is your imprint age. That you have no control over what happens to you from 0 to 7. So that's the programming. So when you come up into your language and you're gauging how you are processing what's going on inside of your head, that's how you, so when you've got to change that, that's why NLP is shifting the neurology in your brain with the way that you gauge what's going on in your head, and so your programming can then shift, so now you have a new strategy, a new program, a new way of doing things. So you go for, how many of you guys know people, and he's going to throw something to you.
I didn't understand that. You skipped over the language part in that. You said, once you have your neuro, that's your info, and then this. But like the neurology sounds like it's just the 10 cognitive disorders to figure out what's wrong. But I thought that lingual NLP part was how words affect what you do.
It's what, yes, it's the words that you create, it's how you
You're
gauge.
talking about self-internal thought.
Yeah, all self.
And what about the channels, the visual, the auditory? Is that a big part of it
We're
to you?
actually
Or
gonna get there.
that's, I'm,
look at-
no, I'm
So
sorry.
the first two are actually,
Okay.
I love you
you have
guys,
to
you're
understand
amazing.
you have to understand the head mindset, and then actually this third one is we're going to teach you that actually, once you understand the internal talk, then you can understand the external speak that you're telling others. But if you refuse to figure out what's going on in here, you're never going to fix your external words. That's done.
And all that's hardwired between ages 0 to 7. It's hardwired in your subconscious, unconscious mind. So now it's just to
So I want to see if I can, don't throw some, he likes to throw pins at me when I go off topic. I think I'm going to not go off topic. So then let me see if this will help you. So I'm actually going to do some spatial anchoring, which is also NLP. Okay, so how many of you people know in your life, they're over here, and not him, because he doesn't do this. They're a victim of everything. They're a victim of the economy. They're a victim of their spouse. They're a victim of their ex-spouse. They're the victim of their raising. They're just a victim of circumstance. And everything happens to them. That is because the language, the linguistics that comes out of their mouth is all they know, their self-talk is, I'm not good enough. I can't do anything about the economy. I mean, I can't do anything about the president. I can't do anything about any of this. I'm a victim of circumstance, and they're like, stuff like this. Then you have those over here who are what we call on the cause side, which are, they take responsibility for, it's not their fault. Let me be very clear. It's not that they're taking the fault, because it's 0 to 7. What if they were sexually abused as a child? You don't want somebody to take that fault onto them, but the cause of that, their language, the way they process, is that I'm responsible for how I feel and how I take what has happened to me. Those are the people that are going to be in your book. The people that are victim of circumstance over here are down here, just who wants to be over here. But we all know this. I used to be this person. 95% of my brain was this. I called her Felicia, so I could say, bye, Felicia. It's like, this was my inner critic over here. My inner child was wounded. Till I got NLP certified, and I was like, holy snap, I can actually process, take what my programming was, shift my neurology, take responsibility for how what has happened. I suffered from infertility. My husband and I have been together for 25 years. My daughter's 16. There's a lot of years without babies in there. And it was all, I lived over here until I went, wait, how can I respond? Guess what? I waited for my daughter. I waited for Isabella to be born. I took responsibility and how I reacted, and I wasn't a victim, I was free. Does that support you?
For your businesses also, is creativity lives on the rise.
Freedom lives over here. Creativity lives over here.
So when you can, even if you can take that note and say, okay, where in my life am I in effect and where am I in cause, that NLP concept right there can change.
There's your strategy. That changes your life right there.
Right.
These are facts. You guys might be looking for like, okay, what is this? You
Get
make
the
these
silver bullet.
changes. This is your silver bullet. Go from effect to cause, take responsibility, get creative, be flexible, and your life completely changes.
Right, got it.
And that's all
Okay.
NLP is about.
Okay, number 3.
So what's 2 then? Subconscious, that's the self-talk.
Say that, I didn't hear the question.
2, second shift.
Number 2 is, so write this quote down. The unconscious mind, sorry, the conscious mind is the goal setter. The
Right.
unconscious mind is the goal getter.
So if they're not in alignment, you're not gonna hit your goals. How many of you have set goals and not hit them? Yeah, because what your conscious mind wants, your unconscious mind is like, no. And that's a whole other topic. That's a whole nother 2 hours.
Mine
Just
is a
that
goal
one
setter.
concept. Yeah. So you have to make your conscious mind is the goal setter. Your unconscious mind is the goal getter.
Is conscious and unconscious equivalent to left and right brain?
No.
No,
You don't think so?
no.
Because what you were saying really sounded like right brain
No.
is the goal setter,
What
right?
I've heard is,
I
so
spent
the
20
mouse
years-
is the conscious
Mm-hmm.
and is sitting on an elephant. That's just subconscious.
You know, you've heard the iceberg.
Hmm?
5% on
that's
top,
me,
that's your
resume.
conscious mind, your unconscious mind is 95% underneath. I mean, you can
We
use it in
only use
any.
3% of our brain.
It runs everything. It beats your heart.
So
Yeah.
another quote that's amazing is, it's not what you heard before. Don't ask yourself, have I heard this before? Ask yourself, how well am I implementing this?
That'll also change your life.
Yeah, that's another NLP. It's, don't ask yourself, have I heard this before? Ask, how well am I implementing it? How can I hear things in a new way? That's what NLP is all about. And then how can I help my clients hear things in a new way?
Or potential prospects. Because a lot of you kind of sound like you were looking for some prospecting. It's how can I take what I've like heard or learned or whatnot. Now, you have a way more experience in that. So my degree is in psychology, but I didn't go into that field. But I was fascinated with kind of the brain, and you did more of the neurology around it. But that is, when you can, it's a whole new way of shifting the way you think. And then when you can get down into limiting beliefs, which is more of the timeline therapy type stuff of NLP, then you can break through some of those. But these awarenesses and these shifts. Another quote is, does what I want vibrate here? And what we mean by that is all emotions have vibration. So think about it, when you are sad or lonely or depressed, what are you? You're like, bleh. But when you're happy and joy, you vibrate at a higher level. So
And when
if
you say vibration, it's literally
An actual
energetic radio wave.
frequency.
There's a hertz amount to each emotion, and when you can know that, you're emitting that, and you're also taking on that energetic waves.
So the example of that is when you felt like, oh my gosh, I've had a bad day and it just keeps getting worse. It's like I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, I'm just gonna chuck this day out because I just can't get better. It's because you're vibrating here and you're not shifting your vibration. And so if you can say, does what I want vibrate here, you can say, okay, no, it doesn't. I don't want to vibrate as nobody will buy my stuff. So where do I want to vibrate? Oh, I want to vibrate that people do want to buy my stuff. This is why I'm valuable. This is the results that I've had with my career in Canada. When you can change that vibration, everything that has been coming to you at a vibrational level is a match. Because here's the thing. When I'm just going to throw something out. Have I lost you guys yet?
No, you don't.
Okay, I'm like, he has literally thrown pins at me from the back of the room. We normally do this in 4 days, like 12-hour days. So you guys have heard of law of attraction, right?
Mhm.
Okay, see if I can do this visually. So you're vibrating low. So here's the stuff. Okay, so you're vibrating low, and then you think you're attracting, you're attracting the other low vibrations. That doesn't mean that there isn't awesome stuff up here.
Yeah.
You're just not there. So it's not about, oh my gosh, is it going to take me 10 years to change my vibration? You're like, no, let me raise my vibration, and holy crapola, I smacked it right in the middle of the face. It's already there. You're just not there yet. Does that make sense? Is that a visual? That's what we mean by just what I want vibrate here. Change your vibration, bam.
Instantaneously, when you shift.
And all change in the unconscious mind is instant.
Yeah.
And the example of that
So
is,
that
have you
again,
ever
all
touched,
changes?
in the unconscious mind is instant and permanent. Have you ever touched a hot stove?
Yeah.
You ever gonna do it again? Instant and,
And remembers, yeah.
And that's the problem with our society right now, with entrepreneurs and coaches. They're saying, work hard, you'll get what you want, and then it's in our unconscious mind that it's gonna take a long time,
And then
Right.
it's hard.
that it's hard, that it's daunting, that it's exhausting.
I've been listening to a lot of new age stuff, like, YouTube videos and stuff. I don't know that I buy it all. But, vibration stuff, that is in a lot of spiritual texts too.
And it's
It's got long,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
got a
it's quantum
pedigree.
physics, yeah.
I don't know if I feel it or get it, but I did hear something the other day on one of them was kind of interesting. Teal Swan, do you know that? I don't really care for her. But she says, if you're having trouble finding your frequency level, she says, think of water. She says, water is the perfect frequency. Does that, it kind of seemed weird, but
So let me,
So we,
can I give you an easier way to figure
sure,
out what your
sure,
vibration
yeah,
is?
yeah.
So I travel a lot, obviously. Me and the TSA agents have a wonderful relationship at San Jose Airport. They're starting to know me by name. And I've been vibrating love. How you check that is how the people that interact around you. So if I go in the TSA and I get searched, and I accidentally left freaking 3 centimeters of my water bottle, and I now have to have everything searched. And I'm like, what is going on? But I'm not outwardly feeling crappy. I'm just like, what is happening here? That's your unconscious mind saying, you're kind of hanging out down here.
oh, wow.
So then I just flew this last time. We took a trip on Spirit Airlines just because we needed some way to parody and laugh for 3 hours. And so I'm flying down here. The TSA agent has the same birthday as me, and he's like laughing. I have my passport, and he's like, "Oh my God, we have the same birthday!" I'm like, "Yeah, this is awesome." I fly through. Literally, my gate is right on the other side of security. There was no line at Starbucks at the airport. I get on the plane, and this flight attendant and I joked the whole way because we said like Spirit, everything was $2. He would walk by me, and he'd be like, "Hey, you going to the bathroom? It's $2." Like me and the Southwest flight attendant, it's an hour and 10-minute flight here, joked about $2. She's like, "You want to get off the plane? It's $2." That's how you check how are you doing.
Got it.
It's your people around you. Is your barista irritating? Guess what? Check inside.
And if people aren't around you, if you work alone, like some of us do.
Go find somebody.
Go find
Call
somebody.
Because we're all about being with people. If
Okay.
you want to do a check, think of water, or go get a coffee, or go
Make a
say
phone
the
call,
French,
something.
and see how the waitress is doing.
Okay.
If the waitress is having a good day, then you're all set. If she's not, go home and go meditate. What's going on with me right now? It's all your perception.
We try to have the
Because
waitress.
you're down here, so you're noticing the people that are cranky. But I guarantee you, if she's the only waitress in the place that's cranky, everyone else is happy. The moment you raise your vibration, all of a sudden she goes to lunch and you've got a new waitress and you feel like you've given her a $100 tip.
So that's like your mirror right there and then. It's what's happening.
That's a mind hack right there, NLP hack right there. You can implement that immediately when you leave.
And then
today.
shift, and then you'll,
And what if you're here and then the other person's here?
you won't meet them. You won't meet
You
them.
can't bring them up. The only way that you can is you raise your vibration. So again, that's another NLP, and it's called mirror matching. So it's rapport. So if you stay here, they will have no choice but to rise.
Right, but that is bringing them up.
But you aren't doing it consciously. It's all their unconscious matching your unconscious. You do not do any conscious.
Well, you could also say something nice to them, right? That was sincere and more direct.
But basically,
But we're talking subconscious, we're not
just
talking
saying
conscious.
here,
I wanna hear what she has to say.
you can, it's okay to associate with someone like this if they don't bring you down and you
As
bring them up.
long as they don't bring you down.
Okay.
Because it took my husband 2 years before he started implementing this. And there was a lot of me up here and him down here. He's in law enforcement, can you imagine?
Yeah.
And it took him 2 years. He's like, what's that NLP, like time therapy thing you, because he has PTSD from the military, he's in the war and blah, blah, blah. And so I did all of our timeline therapy deep session with my husband and released all of his PTSD.
Could you tell us what timeline therapy is? Like, I've heard of that name, but I don't.
It's the quantum physics way of releasing the negative emotion, so the event doesn't change, but your negative emotion releases, but you have the learnings from it.
So another thing is you are doing your businesses, you want to help people, you want to serve people. And we've found that a lot of people that are in the service industries, they actually, we talk about ego and your intuition. If your ego is wanting to help somebody and wanting to pull them up, that's your ego actually wanting to make yourself feel better, not them. Because if I can fix them, if I can bring them up, that means I'm good enough. And that's actually your ego. When you're coming from a place of intuition, you don't actually need them to rise.
They rise just because.
They rise just because of who you are.
And your way of being,
But
you
that
compliment
would
everybody.
violently disagree.
It's because of who she was. She wasn't doing it to make herself feel better. That's truly who she was. So that you actually just proved the point. So yes, that's a beautiful
So
example.
it wasn't ego.
Correct.
Exactly.
No.
So
So
you're
you're
doing
saying,
it the way of from the intuition.
yes, so there's a lot of people out here that are doing it from the ego. We want you all to be coming 100% from your intuition and do exactly what your daughter Carson did. Her daughter, her daughter's name was Carson. And you were over there when she told me that. So what she did is, so you were saying, so without putting words in your mouth, you can correct me if you're wrong, you said, well, you could go and say something nice to them. Is it because you want to make them feel better by saying something nice to them, so it makes you feel like, oh, I said something nice to them? Or is it just your way of being?
Okay, couldn't it be
who you are?
both? Like at networking meetings, I like picking out the person that's alone on the outside of the crowd.
So here's the
Huh?
But how you're
If
being,
it exhausts you,
intuition.
it means that it's not in line
I
with
see.
yourself.
Mhm.
If it fills you, then it's completely in
Good,
line.
good point.
Intuition.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's being.
Because if you're
intuition.
trying to go to the doors and you're trying to make everybody happy, because you want
Right.
to try to be happy and you're exhausted, that's not your way of being. That's coming from a place of ego and
Mhm.
wanting to make it. So, and then when it's coming from your daughter and you're just like, I love finding that person and that fulfills me and it excites me, then
And
that's
she's just totally who she is, then absolutely we want.
at a party, I'd rather go to the corner and be with
Yeah.
it like one-on-one, and that's also who I am,
Right,
and it works.
because it's happy. Anything that you guys are doing that is exhausting you is against your, so that's actually the point of number 2, your unconscious mind is ruining your chances at whatever. Meaning, if you're exhausted, your unconscious mind is like, I don't want to be doing this. Your conscious mind is like, I will make this happen.
Right.
And it's just small tweaks.
Small
It doesn't mean you have
tweaks.
to change your whole business, or maybe it does, but it's just small tweaks, and then you get the next step, and the next step, and the next step.
Okay, so we kind of, I'm just going to look at our notes to make sure I don't miss anything on that.
So the third one will be a little bit more.
More
about
clear,
the
okay.
four.
Yeah, so can I give you guys a dramatic example?
Oh, yeah.
So I have a
number
client, yeah, on number 2. So I had a client, she's a professional LGPA tour golfer, and she came and did work, and she had a trauma in her life, and so every time, so her brain connected, every time she stepped on a golf course, she thought she was gonna die, dead serious, because she had trauma around it. So 2.5 years, she went, she did 5, she drove up from LA, she did 6 hours in doing time therapy and NLP, and the next tournament that she went, she got a check, which means she placed. And she no longer associates, because it's permanent and instantaneous. You get rid of it at the unconscious level. And 2.5 years from her trauma, where she could not step on a golf course, she could not qualify for the PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, and now she's on it now, and she placed in her next tournament after just 5 hours. Because it's unconscious. So that was just more of like honing in that if you can make the change unconsciously, you can, it's long lasting.
Got it. Yeah.
So,
Right.
okay, so number 3, I'm glad we didn't do 5, we don't want to make you guys late.
I'm not that worried about the time. We've already done our networking.
Okay.
I'm happy
I
if you
wanna be
guys go
respectful of
over a little
everybody.
bit if people need to leave, they can.
Okay, you don't know how to communicate with your potential clients, so you're not closing sales, so this is what you were saying. So a lot of us, there are ways to communicate. There are visual people who here would say that they're, most likely they're visual, okay? Then there's auditory people, who here feels that they're auditory, like if you like to listen. Most musicians, yeah, mostly musicians are extremely auditory. You have your kinesthetic, which is a feeling, everything's a gut feeling. You don't do anything unless your gut says that you're ready to go. And then there's what we call audio digital, or the self-talkers. They're like your engineers, not trying to clump everybody together, just trying to give you some possible examples. Like my dad, IBM 44 years, my dad was very audio digital. They do a lot of self-talk, they're internal processors, okay? So I am extremely visual. Before I learned this, I would have trouble. I was leaving 3/4 of my clients, potential clients, out of my business because I wasn't communicating with the kinesthetic, the audio, and the audio digital. I was only communicating with people who are visual like me, and I'd be like, oh my God, this is so amazing, they're just like me. He's so auditory and I'm so visual. I don't know, like it's just because I understand that's how people are unconsciously. You're leaving business, you're leaving 3/4 of your business on the table with your potential clients by not understanding how to communicate with all 4 modalities.
And it's interesting because we think we make it this hard thing, but people can, that they either talk using words like using feeling words, I feel, or I think, or I sense. And when you can just actually reflect those words back in your statements or back in that way, then you're in instant rapport with them. And you're communicating them on an unconscious level. And that's the NLP technique.
Okay, so I'm not a good listener. I'm not listening. I don't understand people's names. Like what you were saying is because you're most likely not an audio person.
Kinesiological.
So you're very
I'm a
kinesthetic.
gut,
You're
yeah.
a feeler. So you just tell yourself that's just how I am, that's okay. Well, to someone who the sweetest sound of someone's ears is the sound of their own name, to have someone who doesn't understand their name or says it wrong. So my name rhymes. Thanks, honey. It's Jennifer Benninger. Like, hello. So I go by Jen, and they always say Benninger, and they spell it wrong, and it's just, whatever it is. What I try to do is understand my clients' names, just because it's the auditory. So when I'm talking, like someone that's not auditory, they could care less if you call them frickin' Fred and their name is Ginger. It doesn't matter, but the audio people care about their names. So you could literally lose a client by not knowing their name or paying attention or listening. I don't want you to ever feel, I was like, oh my God, there's someone I don't want you to, the doggy knows, it's all good. I don't want you to ever lose a sale or feel that you have to say that to yourself, like, oh, I'm just not a good listener, I don't remember people's names. No, I want to change that. You're over here. I'm not a good listener, this is a fact. Coming over here saying, I'm going to take responsibility, I'm going to take notes. I'm going to take notes and hear, so I know that when I'm communicating back to them, I'm not leaving the feelers, the audio digital, the auditory people. Because I'm an external processor, people. He never has to wonder what's going on with me. To an internal processor, they're like, oh my God, you talk too much. And then an internal processor, I'm like, what's happening? Like, and then they're like, so we're going on Monday. I'm like, wait. How did you get to that? But I understand that that's how they are. That's audio digital. And I'm like, okay, cool. So when I have a client who's taking some time to make a decision, I now know, okay, Jennifer, they are an internal processor. So I'm going to let them take their space, and then I'm going to check in on them. How you doing? Yeah, no, I'm good. Cool. Some of you external processors don't like the silence. And you're all, and your internal processor is like, oh, good Lord, can you just give me a minute? So you're actually turning off 3/4 of your clients by not understanding that people process differently and they're not all like you. Now, my external processor visual people, 90% of my clients in the first 15 years of my business. Business was visual people, not making 6 figures. I learned this 2 years in a row, blew past 2 figures when I learned this technique. This mind hack.
And you can practice this every single day because
Every
it's
day.
in marketing everywhere.
Everywhere.
Do you remember the Michael Jackson commercial where he did a spin with Pepsi? So that had the excitement of the drawing out, the slow motion of the spin, was the excitement, the feeling. They had flashing Pepsi on there. They had the snap of the Coke audio was the audio. So they were actually if you see, if it's done well, they're actually appealing.
Visual sound.
The audio digital, because audio digital is like fast. So diet, no calories. The can is it's all the details. It's all the content, information. So all the information.
Visual audio.
Video, audio digital with self-talkers, information, analytical thinkers, and kinesthetic.
A couple quick points. One, I've heard never say, I can't remember names. And everybody does that. Say, I'm great at remembering names instead, even if you're not. The other thing I want to mention is people that can develop listeners. I used to know their listening skill. I used to know one in business. They're amazingly good at business. They are really, really good.
It's audio.
What's that?
It's all NLP. If
Yeah.
you can train your ear to listen for their predicates, that's all you
Yeah.
need.
This one a little bit for Sue. In one of Gladwell's books, there was an attorney, I believe it was David and Goliath, how to take on really big foes. And there was an attorney in there who had, what's it called, dyslexia? Which is apparently far more serious condition than I knew.
NLP can.
Yeah, you can actually, on an MRI, you can actually see the things. And he got so good at being able to listen that he could find just little tiny discrepancies in what people said. And he could recite the whole thing they said. It's a really good chapter of that book. They don't want to read the whole thing. Found it really fascinating. Sorry if I talked
And
about that.
NLP can work with dyslexia because what a dyslexic is they try to feel the word instead of see the word. So they drop in a kinesthetic. So you retrain them to see the word, now you don't have it. So that's again another limiting belief.
Oh, no.
Oh, you had your question. Okay, so communicate. There are 4 different ways to communicate. We talked about that. Tweak the ways, the Michael Jackson. Didn't know how to deal with internal processors. We talked about that, and leaving your clients, 3/4 of your clients on the table. Those are your 4 points. I know I talked fast, but I can repeat anything.
I'd like your favorite resources before you close today, if you wouldn't mind. Your favorite books.
Leaving money on the table and taking it personally.
Yep.
So with that is that everyone, so this is like more factual, if everyone has a different convincer factor. Has
Say
a
that
different
again?
convincer factor,
Convincer factor.
which
Convincer.
means that one person is
Convincer.
convincer. So we've have, one time we just put out a post on Facebook that we want to do this, and somebody, we didn't even like tell them how to pay, but they PayPal us.
Seriously, I literally was like, why
That's so
is
fun.
he sending us money?
And we just said, oh, we think we're gonna do this, and we had like $500 in PayPal, and we're like, whoa. And then there's other people that we had to text 3 times, that we had to call twice, that we had to email, that they had to see several posts, and then we had to call again, in order for them to come to a free event that we did in January. So they needed 5 or 10 convincers, in order to come to a free event, right?
So what you guys are doing, I'm going to do a little mind read here, is if somebody doesn't sign up immediately, you think, oh, I suck. Oh, they don't want me. Oh, my service isn't good enough. I'm not good enough. If they have a convincer of 7 and you talk to them 3 times, you know, if the Bob signed up, he has what's called an immediate convincer, which means he sees something, he's immediate. So you're like, well, Bob signed up by looking at this one sales page. Why is this person not signed up till number 7? Because he needs a convincer of number 7. Those of you who are willing to get to his level 7 are gonna close the deal.
So how is that gonna change the way you follow up when you just
And
say,
don't
oh,
take it personally.
they do this with everybody. It's 7 convincers with everybody. So I'm no different. And so now it's depersonalized.
You're not taking it personally that they didn't sign up in the first 2 times that you called them. So here's another kind of, I didn't know I was gonna say this either. So you guys have heard of Meyer-Briggs. So let me go there. So there's a judge and a perceiver. Let me take the judge or the perceiver and put it into NLP. That's exactly what it is. I am a perceiver. I am last minute Nancy. Perceivers like to keep my options open.
Yep.
Okay? So I am only gonna sign up with you when it's the last chance. And then I am a master at making my life work. My husband will be like, what are we doing? Our anniversary, 25 years. I'm like, I don't know. This word, it's in 2 months. What are we doing? I don't know. But whatever, when I keep my options open, and then the most perfect thing, and I'll be like, this is what we're doing, take your time off work. I'll be like, okay. Give me a while, kind of. Then you have, that's a Myers-Briggs, so it's called a perceiver. We like to keep our options open, and I have a convincer of 6. Ask my how many houses did you need to see before you bought one? Even if you bought the first one you saw, it doesn't matter. How many do you need to see? 6. Great. That's kind of a quick little help. How many times do you have to show them your program? 6. When I was enrolled into the coaching program where we were clients, he called me and it took about 4 times and he just had the patience. He's like, what do you need? And I wasn't thinking he was bugging me. I had a convincer level of 6. He was very good and I was able to make a decision at 4, but he just kept following up. And it changed my effing life because he's the one who introduced me to NLP.
Got it. So people that have a convincer of 6,
You're not bugging them.
And then the people that are bugged anyways,
They're not your ideal client anyway, so just let it go. So a judger, now, they like things closed. Just like, close the loop, Jen. Close the loop. And I'm like, but we gotta keep our options open. Close the loop, Jen. Gotta keep our options open. So we're brilliant. We're brilliant together. And I'll be like, okay, you need to make a decision. We'll be like, okay.
So you're more like the dominant, right? Like,
It's just the way he is. So like, for example, we hired a comedian to come out on Friday night, tomorrow night, for our clients. So we're doing a lot of this kind of mindset work, this deep work this weekend, and we're like, we need them to laugh. So we hired this comedian, and I wanted to like look at like 7. He's like, it's midnight and it's on Friday. And I'm like, no, one more. And finally he's like, this is the one we're picking. And I'm like, okay, cool, because my options were no longer open. He didn't upset me. I might have been bugging him, but you know, he knows me enough to know that I need to at least see 3 comedians. Really, I wanted 6. He got me at 2, but the other guy made me laugh on every little clip, and we called him and we're like, okay, he's in, so he's coming, and he's going to come to our clients on tomorrow night. But that's exactly you just have to understand that people have different connection levels, and some people like to keep their options open.
so then with your programs, how does it apply to you? It's you either with me, it's like show me one thing and tell me how it's gonna do for me and I will buy it. And then for her, it's like, well, what's her 3 options?
And then follow up with me, let me externally process, and you're like, oh my God, is she talking herself out of it? No, I'm externally processing, give me 3 options, tell me that the deal's closed tomorrow, and I'm not gonna get the offer tomorrow anymore, and I'll make a decision.
But what do you do if it's just yourself? Like, I've been wanting to do my workshops online for a long time.
Right?
So, and I know I'm a perceiver because I've done my company. But when you said that, I want to keep your options open. And I know I'm like that with friends if they want to go see a movie a month from now. I'm like,
Okay.
ask me people before, right?
So,
But this is what I wrote down. Like, I don't want to box in my time commitment for one thing. Like, I'm going to do like a 6-week thing. I don't know where I'll be in 6 weeks. And also box in sort of what you said, what I'm going to teach or like different outfit by then. I want to change everything I'm teaching. So I can never
you
walk it
can.
down.
Okay. Little talk today was about you becoming aware of that and seeing if you can kind of do it yourself. I, now with my NLP, am a judger when I'm in work mode and I'm a receiver at home. Well, I change my strategy, instantaneous, permanent. When I have units unlocked in my brain, I'm a judger. When I'm at home, I'm a receiver. So here's the opposite. There's not one better than the other because judgers at home are sometimes not, they have interesting family lives, right? So how would you like to be a judger at work and a receiver at home? This is the thing, you guys, there is no better than another. A judger is not better than a perceiver.
Right.
You can marry it, my husband's a judger, but he could have been a perceiver. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. It's understanding, and then how do you communicate with them? What's the language? How do you internalize? What is the behavior? How do you change what you think? So yes.
Your question, basically, you have to find, your answer normally would be, she has to find the thing that vibrates for her.